Hello, and welcome to the 28th episode of the Veranda Financing Podcast. I am so excited you stopped by to listen to the show. I'm Christine Mills, and before I begin, I want to remind you to please subscribe to the Veranda Financing Podcast and leave a review. Reviews are super helpful to help others learn about the podcast. Also, you can follow Veranda Financing on Instagram and Facebook. Our shows are dedicated to the entrepreneurs and the dreamers who want to make a difference and to build that dream that they've always been thinking about, and who's pretty much doing it by themselves or looking for support and advice. Each episode, I try to give you the best content I could provide about business growing, business coaching, business finance, and anything that I find that will be very helpful to all the entrepreneurs out there. Today, we're discussing an oldie but goodie. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this TV show, but it's a cooking show called Nigella Bites. And I recently watched this show on YouTube. I used to love this show, guys. I really did. And for some of you who don't know much about Nigella Lawson, she's a British chef, author, and TV personality. I used to love watching her show years ago. The artistic intro and soundbite peeks into her life as she carries her kids to the nursery, quote unquote nursery in London, riding around in taxis and entertaining guests. The show really made me feel as if I knew her. She quickly became that person who would provide me with a snapshot into life as a working mother in modern day London. Her show always tended to come in on off times, but when I finally knew the show times of her shows, this was before the DVR stage, I would be sure to catch it. Even watching it years later, I still find it to be quite captivating and entertaining. I've listed some takeaways that entrepreneurs like yourself can learn from this show. And if you haven't, go on YouTube and check it out. It's called Nigella Bites. And I have some tips that I think will be very helpful for you today. 1, hire experts who can make your product the best you can afford. Hire experts who can make your product the best you can afford. Producing Nigella Bites required a team. There are a host of individuals who are behind the scenes ensuring the show is at its best. Don't be afraid to hire out individuals to perform tasks you may know nothing about, or the learning curve may be too long. If you're not in the position to hire anyone out, you can use software to help you. I find that the website templates today make it so much easier to make your company look like $1 million, even if you have not yet made your first sale. Also, if you don't know and you can't afford anyone, try raising your hand and asking for help. You may be surprised who is willing to help with no strings attached. Number 2, provide value by educating your customers. Throughout the show, Nigella will invite the viewers to her pantry and will highlight items that everyone she thinks should have in their pantry. She will also open up her fridge and freezer to show viewers her array of frozen and other items that she uses to make meal prep easier. Also, while she cooks, she's explaining her various decisions while she's making couscous and grilled chicken. And you really do feel like you can do what she does because she explains it and she teaches it. So I find that education should be a big part of anyone's business model because that's how you really build your community and you really learn even more by teaching. So you're giving that information, but you're also learning yourself. Number 3, provide the behind the scenes. In some of the shows, you will see the camera crew taking pictures of a multi-tiered chocolate cake with edible flowers on top. You quickly gain an idea of how much work goes into making it a success. When you are creating your service or product, try to include the behind the scenes peek. People are usually curious about how the sausages are made. And this may look like different things for everyone. If you're a writer, try showing people what you're writing, even the work in progress, and say, hey, what do you think? I follow some artists on Instagram and they do a really good job of showing you their paintings, even when it's not done, or showing them the process, showing the viewers the process of them painting. I also follow some cooks on Instagram, which they show you the process of cooking their meals, and business people, entrepreneurs, the process of building their business, what they're doing. They're knocking on doors today. How did it go? It may seem a little vulnerable, but you can share what you want to share. But I think it really helps people get to know you even more. Number 4, be yourself and let your personality shine through. My favorite part of the show is after Nigella Lawson serves her dish and you think that the show is over. Her home is dark, but then a hand opens up the fridge. It's Nigella taking a bite from her leftovers. You instantly like and can relate to this lady who does not apologize for enjoying food, no matter how delectable it is. Her home is lived in. You instantly want to curl up with a book in her dining room / library and enjoy her homemade hummus topped with toasted pine nuts. You can do the same thing. Find out what makes you, you. And it may even be the things that you find to be quite annoying that others might find very endearing. And that's what they could relate to. I don't think anyone could relate to perfection, but everyone could relate to imperfection. So sometimes it's okay to show what makes you different from other people. And that will really, really make you different from the competition. Think of people that you know that you love so much, or even brands that you love so much, or companies you really like. I'll give you an example. I love Trader Joe's. I really do. That's one of my favorite grocery stores. I find that their goods are inexpensive. I find that the shopping experience is special. You walk in, you see fresh produce, you see flowers that are reasonably priced that you could take home and, purchase. They have a different array of bouquets. They always have coffee that you could get while you're shopping, which a lot of times I need it. No caffeine addiction, but, I do like my cup of coffee. And they always have samples. And always have samples that the fragrance from the samples infuses throughout the entire grocery store. Also, grocery stores aren't really big. They're just the right size that you can move around. And the people are very helpful. You'll say, hey, I'm having a hard time finding cacao powder. Can you help me? And rather than them say, oh, it's an aisle 4, which a lot of big chains might do, they will say, hey, I'll help you find it, and they'll walk with you. I will drive 10 more miles just to go to Trader Joe's for that experience, because I don't really like grocery shopping, but when I do, I want it to be a pleasurable experience. So their personality, I find, is what differentiates them. They find people to work there that are cheerful and helpful and want to be there. I'm not saying everybody wants to be there, but at least they act like they want to be there. They're not trying to be everyone else by going big or go home. They actually retain a small shop feel where you feel like you could it's manageable store, especially someone like me who's a young mom with I don't have a lot of kids, but with multiple kids. I find it easier for me to pop into Trader Joe's than a Walmart. No shade to Walmart, but so all I'm saying is that sometimes the very thing that you are chasing towards, sometimes you should pretty much find a way to be yourself, and that will attract people to you. So if Trader Joe's all of a sudden became a mega Trader Joe's, I guarantee you they'll lose so many customers because people go there because it's a small shop that is manageable. So try to figure out where you are going to be in the marketplace. If you want to grow strong and you want to keep your customers a certain number and you want your revenues to be a certain number and you think that's what you can handle, go for it. If you want to go big and you want to get private equity funding and you want to be a conglomerate and you want to have a lot of investors to answer to, go for it too. But all I'm saying is that make sure that you're comfortable with the decision you make, and it really allows your personality to shine through. 5, and this goes back to also be yourself and let your personality shine through, is to celebrate what makes you unique. So I spoke about Nigella Lawson, taking a bite from her leftovers, and I think everybody could relate to that. But celebrate what makes you unique. One thing I've noticed is that the more we lean into what makes us unique, the more value we add. The more we lean into what makes us unique, the more value we add. At the time Nigella Lawson's show was on the air, it was slightly controversial. Looking back, it seemed quite silly. She was one of the first modern TV chef personalities who was not real thin and took pleasure in eating. She cooked with butter and olive oil and ate rich desserts without apology. As someone, myself, who has spent most of her life in double-digit size clothes, I enjoyed her even more. That just goes to show you how your uniqueness may attract your core people. So find what makes you unique. Let your personality shine through. Provide the behind the scenes. Provide value by educating your customers. And hire experts who can make your product the best you can afford. I really think those 5 pillars will really help you be the best in your business and will help you go to the next step. I'm so happy again that you stopped by. I enjoyed sharing this episode with you. I thought it was very helpful for myself. Please subscribe to the Veranda Financing Podcast and leave a review. Let me know what you think. And also, I'm on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. So it was great meeting with you today, and have a good day. And you could learn more about Veranda Financing at verandafinancing.com. Take care.